This is literally me shooting in my garage. And if you're interested, this is the angle that I use sometimes. There we go. Cool, right? So why did I start a YouTube channel at 36 years old? You know, I've got a few reasons that I want to share with you, and hopefully they're very relatable. So today I'm going to go into the why, but also the what I've learnt over the last 5 months, which hopefully will be helpful and is something that, you know, you can only really learn when you do it yourself. So maybe you have to go on your own journey. But I'll start with the why. And the why is interesting for me because even though I've got a full-time corporate gig, you know, I'm an executive at a Fortune 500 company and I take care of about 40 people. I started this channel for a few reasons, right? And I'll list the first one here. I'm going to call outlet. And this one was really important for myself because I don't know about you, but with my day job, there's only so much progress and success I can control. So it can get very frustrating. So for me to avoid burning out or feeling like shit, frankly, being able to have something on the side that I can control directly, how much progress I make, how much I learn, how much output I can put out, and therefore feel successful, was super important to me, right? And I call it the 80-20 rule. And by that, I mean, if I spend 80% of my professional or work-orientated energy into my day job, but I set aside 20% of that for some sort of hobby like YouTube, then when the 80% isn't going so hot, or if it's slowing down, it's really nice to have the 20% where I can continue progressing and continue moving forward. Now, before I go into the next why, I'll go into a what. Like, what have I learned by doing that? You know, a funny thing, when I first started, I'll call this like, what's your niche, right? And I'll call it that because when I first started, I actually had tech videos, right? What I'll do is I'll subscribe to a bunch of newsletters and newspaper articles around technology. I'll pick the coolest ones every week or every month, and I'll do a video on that because that's my content, right? I'll just figure out how to communicate it in a cool way via camera. And one of the early videos I did is still my technically best performing video to date. It has about 3K views, right? And it's around tech job layoffs and the story behind why tech companies are laying people off. And spoiler alert, it's because they hired too many people during COVID because everyone was at home using too much tech. So you've got too many employees, that's why they're laying them off. But guess what? Like, I only got, I think, like 10 subscribers from it. Whereas when I actually did a video around startups and starting a business, because I started a business a while ago where we hit a $10 million valuation and it was 6 years of my life, and I feel still really passionate about young entrepreneurs, young in mind, doesn't have to be young in age, who are out there trying. I only got like maybe 1.5K views of one of my best videos there, but I got 100 subs from that. And that kind of correlation between views to subscribers demonstrated to me, hey, I should be doing more of that content. So that's an example of how, even though I started off with tech, I've moved into this kind of more startup. How do you launch a business? What does it feel like to be a first-time founder? All that kind of development, personal development stuff. Also because I really enjoy it. You know, 5 months in, if I was still doing the tech stuff, I promise you I would have given up like in the second or third month because I would have gotten bored. Whereas this kind of niche for me, it's fun. Like, I look forward to shooting it. Now, the second one's an interesting one, and maybe it's unique to me because I'm a bit of a weirdo, but legacy. And not in the way that, oh, when I'm gone, I want this YouTube channel about me to be floating around. That's a bit yuck. It's more about imagine, right? When you get kids, imagine when by the time I croak it, I can hand a YouTube channel to them because the attention economy is booming. It really is growing. I mean, Goldman Sachs has also shared that they expect this market to hit $500 billion over the next 3 years. So it's not a small industry. Imagine if you can pass on to your children, here's a channel with X 100,000 subscribers. Or in some cases, some of the people out there, millions of subs, right? And as long as that channel is built around authenticity and who you are and the stuff you care about, if they're interested, they could probably, and with your help, kind of change the direction or be like, hey audience, I'm passing this on to my son or my daughter now, and they're going to talk about fishing, or they're going to talk about architecture, or whatever they love, right? Imagine if you could do that, because, you know, when you think about intergenerational wealth and what you can pass on to your next generation, it's all about money, it's all about property, and a lot of us out here are never going to achieve that level of wealth, right? I'm 36 years old. And even at this point, even though I'm very proud of what I'm able to provide for my family, I'm not going to be in a position right now to hand a ton of property to my sons or daughters, right? So it's kind of like, imagine if I do this, if I commit to do this channel, a video a week, and maybe that might change for the next 20 years or 30 years, I'd like to think as long as you enter a social contract with your viewer in the sense that I will put out quality and good stuff, I won't shortchange you. Hopefully you grow kind of a viewer base of that, like a community of people that actually value what you have to say. But just imagine it's no longer about, hey, here's 3 houses that I'm handing to you. It's more, here's attention that I've been able to develop over the course of my life because I've had a good time doing it and I've done it on the side. This is yours now. I think there's something there, and I think that's a really weird way to look at it, but that's one of my whys. Now I'll do a second what. For me, and it's off the back of the legacy point, think long term, right? And I'll write long for the what. And by that I mean, don't try and do videos that you want to go viral. I think if you try and chase that, you're going to drive yourself nuts and you'll probably give up sooner than you think because you're chasing this feeling that probably won't happen. And is not, I think, the key to success in if you're approaching it the way that I'm approaching it, right? You almost want to sustainably grow your audience in a way that as long as you put out things that you care about, you authentically believe in, you'd like to think you'll slowly get there, right? It's a tortoise and the hare kind of scenario here. Because for me, I tried doing that to a degree early on where even if you look at my older videos, even the title of the videos was like, using keywords and all these things because I signed up to some tools very early on to try to figure out, hey, what's a trending title? Or what's a video from a low subscriber account out there that is really blown up because the algorithm's favoring that right now? And I was just met with disappointment because I was doing all the hacks and all that kind of stuff to try and get videos to really pop off. And it just started turning into another job, which is not the point of this. This is meant to almost be like a side passion hustle. Think of this as almost like if you had a choice to pick 2 hobbies, and this was my case. It was either join the local soccer team with the other dads and try and win the championship, or start a YouTube channel because I had a finite amount of time to do either or. And by fate, it was YouTube because they didn't accept me into the team. I didn't even get a call back. Maybe I'll try again in the future and find time. But, you wouldn't treat that like a job. You'd have fun. Sure, you'd put effort into it, right? But you'd really try and get some enjoyment out of it. Same for this. So what I've started doing is less going for okay, what's the trending title? What's the trending topic? It's like, what do I feel like sharing this week? What do I feel like shooting? What am I going to enjoy doing? And hopefully that comes through the video, and hopefully that comes through even the thumbnail or even the title, right? And I'm going to just rub out the part of the why there because it's driving me nuts. There we go. Now the third one I'm going to call job security. Because unfortunately with where the world is at right now, a lot of people are being laid off and it's not their fault, it's not the company's fault, it's just what it is. So if you're able to have 20% of your effort and your time invested in something like this, hopefully you'd like to think after some time you're making some money out of it, whether it's through ad revenue being shared via the platform, whether you've created a brand and you might be doing some, consulting on the side based off it, brand endorsements, affiliate marketing where you might sell products for brands that actually want to get in touch with your customers, which I think is fine as long as a small channel, you actually use the product itself. If you sell out very early on, whoever cares about what you have to say is going to feel it. But if you do it, then it's fine. Like an example for me, if I were to do affiliate marketing ever, if I continue using this format of drawing on my brick wall, which I actually really enjoy doing, maybe I might go to Kindle or a tablet and be like, hey, can I help promote some of this because I actually use it a lot? Or if there's a business course that I'm doing online that I actually think is very prevalent to people starting new companies, maybe I might do something like that. It has to be stuff like that. It can't just be anything, right? But if you've got something on the side and it's helping you make a bit of money because it's almost like the modern day form of some sort of rent revenue, meaning like, especially if you're a millennial or you're Gen Z and you don't have a property making money because you're renting it out, you might have a social media platform or a YouTube channel that's making a bit of money. It just helps. Plus it helps you not go crazy because you've got nothing to do. While you're looking for another job or something, maybe it's the silver lining to just lean into it more and you might find some success, right? So part of the reason I started this, frankly, even though I'm not worried about my job whatsoever at this moment, just putting that out there in case anyone at work is watching this, doubtful though, is you just got to cover your bases, man. You just got to have some fun with it. Now, the third one I'm going to call self-sufficiency. I found that the more I do this, if you can do it where you don't need anyone else's help, that's the best way to do it. Because since it's fun and it's on the side and it's this creative flair or creative bone that you're massaging and kind of growing, you want to be able to sometimes impulsively shoot things and just do things. And if you have to wait for someone to hold a camera, to help you set something up, to go to a location with you or whatever, I find that gets quite difficult, and that creative feeling or flair may just pass, right? Like, that's why right now I'm shooting in my garage so I don't bother anyone in the house. I used to do it in the house, and my wife and the family was like, dude, are you shooting again? You know, can you just stop? So I've moved in here, and I didn't realize I was going to use the brick wall, but I was like, hey, I've got a blue wall here that I painted for the home gym. I'm just going to use it for videos. And then in the spirit of self-sufficiency as well, just to show you how I think, I was like, oh man, if I can't go off site and shoot a bunch of stuff anymore to kind of keep the viewer engaged, because if they just stare at me talking the whole time, it's going to be boring as hell. How do I keep the shot dynamic? I was like, oh, why don't I just write on the wall like a blackboard? Because I enjoy writing as I describe things or noting stuff out, you know? So that's kind of where I am today. I don't know if it's going to change, but I'm really enjoying it. Now, hopefully this was helpful, and the overarching message here is just start. You know, and this video doesn't mean you have to start a YouTube channel. The message behind this is whatever you start on the side, apply the similar approach that I've applied to starting a YouTube channel to your own craft, right? For me, it was an outlet. There's a level of legacy, job security. What I've learned along the way is how to figure out how to, if anything, when you boil down the what's for me, is longevity. How do I make sure I approach this in a way that I can keep doing it and I don't get bored or I don't quit? Because I think that's the key to success with anything. You know, I actually think anything, if you want to succeed, it's not about the idea. It's not even about execution sometimes. It really is about patience, right? Do you have the patience to stick it out? Do you have the patience to keep going? Do you have the patience to make another video or do whatever you're doing when it feels like you're failing and it's not working? Sometimes you just got to stick it out and do it. So it's about longevity for me. Whatever it is, if you enjoy it, just do it. So good luck to you. You got this, and I'll chat to you again soon.